Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 332, and today we're doing battle with the new pirates. And so this is our first video of the Glory and Navori, the first video post-rotation, and so it's an exciting time to be in. And I feel, without a doubt, without any certainty, that we're going to see Samira get nerfed. I have only played a handful of games. I'm not just attributing this to aggro decks being so good on the first day. Samira is just complete bonkers. And so kind of in that space to where action got to run free and wild, and no one really realized how much he was doing, even though he was doing so much. It was just kind of a death by a thousand cuts kind of thing. Samira does so much more, and she's just a little bit more blatant in her in her extreme power level, and so have fun with this for the next month. I assume as the next balance patch comes out, Samira is going to see a handful of tweaks. And so she is the kind of main point of what we're going to be doing here today. This is a deck very similar to the Pirates decks of old. And so the Pirates decks that have been the mainstay of the format for the past 2.5 years look to be really aggressive in the early game. And then they have a bit of card draw to bridge from the mid game to the late game. And then they look to finish off the games with a bit of burn. And so while the suspects in this deck are a little bit different than you would see in the past, a lot of the gameplay patterns here should feel quite familiar here for you. And so we are playing Samira and Darius, not going with the Misfortune. It's probably not cool to call it Pirates anymore without either Misfortune or Gangplank, but I don't think Misfortune feels like a real necessity in this deck. We're not pulling off scout attacks. We're not doing multiple attacks with free attacks or anything, and so I feel like she can be left at home. I'm really just looking for a late game closer, and Darius brings in the thunder in that sense. To get you fresh with some of the new cards, we have a wide range of spells here, many of these new. All Out, fantastic combat trick. This is a card that typically just gives you +2/+2 almost all the time. And so very effective and efficient combat trick. Stylish Shot, when I initially talked about this one, I thought the secondary Stylish Shot had fleeting. And so you would play the first Stylish Shot, get a Nexus Strike in, you get the second one back in your hand, and you just have that fleeting one. Not the case. And so this is a very effective and very powerful card in that you can Stylish Shot, play some dudes, attack, then you get a fresh copy back in your hand. You can play it on the next turn for a plunder and lose it, or you can use it on the following turn and try and get it back in hand again. Very, very powerful card. Up next, we're playing Heavy Metal. This is one to where we're using it to fight Samira. Plain and simple, Samira is going to be running rampant, and having a reasonable removal spell within this faction that can take her down is going to be very important. Pirouette. This is a card I've been quite happy with. You will find that almost all the time, this is a 1-mana spell that kills a unit, stuns another one, and then you attack for like 9 damage. It's exceptionally powerful, and I've been quite pleased with how this one plays out. Nox and Fervor is an old standby, and now we come by the card draw package. We used to just play the copies of Eye of Nagakaboros and then Zap Sprayfin. Zap Sprayfin, unfortunately gone, and so we're stuck playing Barbed Chain. I feel like this is really about the best you can do in terms of the remaining card draw cards, and I felt like just Eye of Nagakaboros, the one card draw card, wasn't enough to really bridge you into the late game. Now, down here in terms of the units, we have 9 1-drops. Our friend Jagged Butcher, Crimson Pigeon are still here. We have the new unit in Elegant Edge. Elegant Edge, unfortunately, we typically don't play until about the 3rd turn, but it's still a very powerful card in that it now has Fearsome. Mirai Warden is another classic standby, and the remaining 2 are new ones. Daring Demolisher, very powerful in this deck, dealing 1 to activate Plunder or doubling up on a Plunder effect, and that doubled up Plunder effect works very nicely on the Dashing Dandy. Dashing Dandy, pretty much all the time coming down as a 4/4 Overwhelm for 3, and he can get those additional upgrades by giving him additional Plunders. Very powerful stuff. And so that's it. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. I already paid the pay-to-win price. This is the second time I've done this intro. I went and turned Samira Prismatic without checking the reward pass, and there is a Prismatic Samira in there. And so if you're looking to get this Prismatic on your own, if you got the event pass, you might want to just wait a little bit. You'll get to unlock that by yourself. And so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump on into battle. All right, off we go. And so I will say, I'm only going to be doing 5 games today. If you're fresh and new to the channel, I typically do about 8 games in these videos, get you about a sweet hour of content and hearing my beautiful, beautiful voice. But I've gotten a touch sick. I'm not like real sick, I just kind of have a head cold, and I'm going to be a little off in terms of how this video goes. And so I'll do my best. I'll try and make it through. My throat was kind of scratchy yesterday. It's a little bit worse today. And then I kind of feel like I'm going to have to just like make some cuts in the video as I have to stop and make some boogers go away and stuff. I feel like I've made about an actual gallon of snot today. I'm sure that's what you wanted to hear, what you wanted to know. But, you know, that's that's just part of life here. And so this is going to be kind of interesting. This is something we're going to see come up time and time and time again now. And we're going to have to start being really careful on turn 2. In the sense, opponent played nothing on turn 1. They have that 1 mana bank into turn 2. And now they can play Samira, get the thingy in hand, the targeter, whatever that thing is called, and start doing quick attack challenges on turn 2 and taking your units down. And so the flare. Right, so he had that opportunity to play Samira, get the flare, and then chase down our daring demolisher. Not something we're wanting to see too much of, and so we'll have to be watching out for it. See, now he's going to flare down our dashing dandy. A bit unfortunate for Dandy Bro, but we'll try and get through this. Painful, very strong attacks. No way he just passes, though. I feel like we can safely pass and just try and make our way through. All the quick attacks. Come on, dude. Come on. Okay, I guess. That's brutal. Not a bad combo whatsoever. Alright, well, let's see if we can't do something next turn. You're so light on damage at this point. It's painful. I thought we were going to be able to start cruising through, but this has been exceptionally powerful with Samira. And so, do we want to Eye of Nagakaboros and just go for it? Like, I think ultimately, this matchup is going to come down to us playing Darius next turn. And so, if we don't play Darius, or if we play the Eye of Nagakaboros, we can't really interact with the board to get Darius down next turn. And so, I'm just going to come in and play some of this other stuff, try and punch in as much chip damage as we can, and then hope Darius gets to stick next turn and punch in that big final blow. Really just need to get opponent to like 8. And then we can hopefully clear up with like stylish shots and such to push in those final points. Come on, kitty. Interesting. He just plays action directly in front of Samira. Not what I was expecting to see. Not what I was expecting. But let's bring the squad. I'm just going to come in and hook the Rune Squire. I mean, it's his weakest unit here. If he has something like a Shaped Stone, then we'll still win that combat. It's just highly suspicious to see him drop action onto this board. I mean, maybe he's just willing to accept he needs blockers to stop what we're doing, but that just seems so strange to me. And so if he has the +2/+2 thing, he might have a way to get himself out of this attack, but we got to try and stop it where we can. Shapestone's fine. I'm curious if he's going to have enough spells to get the rally next turn. That's actually quite scary. Alright, so Samira's dead. Sad day for her, but we do still have 2 damage of burn in hand with opponent at 7. We're getting kind of close to taking them down. Like, he shouldn't be able to lethal this year. We're already at 7, or we're already at 20. Look at that, Decimate. Darius says, what up, friends? You guys remember Decimate? You remember this card? Let's get some of that burn in here. Don't mind if I do. Alright, friend. Let's get you on board. So he's only got 3 mana at this point. We're not completely out of the woods, right? He can't... God, there's a cat just digging her claws right into my fucking leg. We're not completely out of the woods. There are things that you can strike in the middle of combat with. And so, like, Grappling Hook won't cut it if we open attack, but something like Brutal Skirmish or the... I think Furious Wielder's still in the game. I don't entirely know all the strikes. It's so much to soak in. Oh, shit, is he going to... Is he going to Grappling Hook? He's dropping all these targets on Samira. That's scary. You would have snapped it off, right? You're not just sitting here fucking around like that if you don't have it. You might be able to get the rally, but... Ooh. I mean, it's like he's attacked. You can't just be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play any cards now." You know, that's a little too greedy. All right, and so are we going to be able to, like, I really want to play this Decimate, but we just feel a little bit short on damage. Do we really want to count on being able to hit one more card, right? I mean, he hasn't just outright conceded. I don't know. Let's do it. Let's bring in the Decimate. It's right. We're just so close. We have Eye of Nagakaboros in hand to draw some more cards. We have the Stylish Shot and the Flare. We can draw just absolute ton of cards. And so I feel like if we attack with Darius and he dies, we just lose the game. But getting that Decimate in here, and now that we have Barbed Chain and the Eye and everything, we have some real opportunities to burn him out should this attack fail. And then he can't kill us with an open, right? He's only got 13 into our 11... Or, hang on, never mind. That math wasn't exactly right, but we do have a blocker in the Mirai Warden. Is he gonna burst rally? God, that's a thing that I've tweeted that I'm really excited about getting to pull this off, and now he's he's doing it to us, and so that's such a pain in the dick. All right. Rip Darius. Well, I guess I'm extra glad that we that we threw down the burn. All right, see what we can do. And so we'll get the Elegant Edge in. We have to play the Barbed Chain, and then we'll play the Stylish Shot. I want to be able to get the burst off the Flare if we can. Whew. It's gonna be close, fam. It's gonna be close.
I hope that was not.
Is he really gonna get another rally here? He's only got 3 spells to go and has a 0, or 3 cards to go and has a 0-cost card in hand. Oh, that was lucky for us. Well, we got Heavy Metal, Eye of Nagakaboros. Not quite it. The Demolisher can do it, but he's going to open attack. All right. It's short, right? We don't have anything we can do here. All right. So close. So close. I'm glad we went for the Decimate, but that showcased a couple of things, right? That's what we're going to see a lot. He got his Samira up and active, and ours died. It was unfortunate ours died in the middle of combat there. But the second thing he did is where she gets really ridiculous. That was not particularly challenging what he did to get a rally on our attack token at burst speed and then be in the spot to where he probably could have gotten a second one, right? He was maybe sitting on Rite of Negation or something, so he didn't tap out all of his mana. But he had another 3 targets on Samira, so he had 3 cards to go with a 0-cost card in hand. It's not unreasonable to think that he had access to a second rally effect. Ooh, all right, on to the next one out here. I'm struggling. I'm trying to make it. I had a cat just dig it into my legs. I was trying to deal with my head situation. Whew, this is tough. Try and make it. All right, what do we got here? The old Bard. I didn't realize Bard was still in the game. So good for you, buddy. Good for you. I'm glad. I'm glad you're still making it. With this, I'm curious if we want to hang on to All Out. I don't think we do, because we're just going to curve right through, right? We're going to curve the Pigeon into Samira, then we're not going to play it until like turn 4 or something. And so let's just go ahead and leave it in hand. And I think we can pretty safely take Samira down to 1 health. This is Spirits Unleashed got rotated, and so there shouldn't be a ton of stuff that just comes in and does damage to her. So I think she'll be relatively safe here. Okay, take the trade on our 1-drop. Not a bad deal. All right, then we can start pushing for the flip, right? We have a handful of the cards that it would need. We're going to play the Demolisher just to get a dude down. We can play additional spells if we need to, but we're to the point to where we're oh shit, the attack token flipped, but we're pretty close to where we could have gotten a big chain of spells. But let's try it this way. We'll get our big friend on board here. I would really like to get our thing back. So let's drop the heavy metal onto the Omen Hawk. It's realistically not going to find a better target in this match anyways. And now we're pretty safe to just... oh, he's got Bard, doesn't he? Let's watch out for that nonsense. You gotta check the stats on this guy. Alright. Now Samira will start flipping. We'll get the flare in hand. We'll get the stylish shot back as well. Definitely have 2 cards to play on this next turn. Can flip her if we want. This is interesting. This is interesting in that like we definitely want to be going for the flip, but I also want to get Darius down next turn. And it's like if we want to get Darius down, I would like to be able to give him Challenger. And so are we willing to just drop the stylish shot? And I think that's going to be fine. There's the flip. We'll see where we can go from here. He says, oh, what's the deal with all these jagged butchers being bigger than my Bard units? That's not fair. That's not fair. So do we just want to let this Samira die and play a different one? That's going to give us an additional flare. Right? The front side of Samira only gives you flares if you don't have them. The flip side doesn't care. And so now we can replay her. We'll get that additional flare in hand now. Not bad. I guess the thing to pay attention to there that I didn't pay a ton of attention to was how close we were to the rally. We should have maybe paid a little bit of attention there, but I think we're still in this space to where we're pretty intent on doing stuff with this Darius. Sejuani comes in. She's nowhere near flipping, so let's just get a combat. Who do we take down? We'd rather take down Bard or this pouty Poro that has the potential to flip. Probably don't want the Bard attacking. He's nowhere near doing flip stuff, but I don't think we want him just hanging out. And now we should be able to get a rally this turn pretty much regardless of what we draw. Looks like we ended up getting there. So I'm looking more towards this now as a means of we'll deal the point of burn, we'll play the Butcher, we'll heavy metal something, and then we can probably just hook Sejuani out of combat. May not have enough damage to get the kill with Darius, but we should be pretty close on the following turn. So here comes Jagged Butcher. And we'll heavy metal the pouty Poro. Maybe we should have done that first. I don't think it entirely matters. Then our next spell will give us the rally. We can even burst this out if we need to. So if he does something unfortunate to Samira, we can still get the rally for the turn. Okay. Don't do something unfortunate to Samira, please. Oh shit, he's got all these big units now? Interesting. I'm curious if we're gonna feel like we're wasting this. Like, maybe the angle here is we just flare and hit and challenge in the bird with our Darius. There we go. Don't tell me I don't have the attack token, bro. We know we got it. And so now we'll get the blocker out of the way. Our Darius will flip because we're getting all this damage in. And now we should be much closer next turn. As it stands, with him only having 3 units on the board, if we do 6 with our Jagged Butchers and get a strike with Samira, then we'll have the 7 damage we need for the lethal. Nox and Fervor feels pretty good as well. Let's get to it. 3 sisters, sure. We should still be fine. Samira's going to get the strike. Maybe we should wait till after combat for this, just to make sure we get the Samira thing in hand before we play the Nox and Fervor. Just since we're going to play it on Darius, right? I wanted to actually get those damages in the middle of combat, so interesting. All right, GG. All right, next battle. And so the thing that's interesting to me with Samira is we just had this phase, right? They nerfed Relentless Pursuit, they nerfed Golden Aegis, they nerfed Champion Strength, they nerfed Katarina. We had this big long time where Katarina was just out here going bonkers, and Riot didn't do anything about it. And then they printed Samira with the built-in rally. It completely blows my mind that they did that. So much power. Now here, this is one of these things I'm kind of curious as to how things are going to play out and how time's going to affect if we really want to play this turn 1 unit. I'm not even super convinced that we want to play all of these 1-drops, given that we get so much value out of playing these Samira cards. And then we just don't really get a chance to use them if we just kind of throw everybody away. And so it'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how it ends up playing out. Now this, I think, is safe. It feels like we're, I don't know, like a Pirates veteran would probably be like, "Bust, you're a moron. Look at this. Look at all this that you're giving up." But the way that I kind of feel with this space is if we start to add Samira to the board, she's in such a spot to just get popped by a darkness that it doesn't feel super safe to be adding her to the board. And so I don't want to go particularly crazy in terms of getting her down. Now he's gonna darkness the Crimson Pigeon, so we can play the Demolisher. Let's plunder up our friend. Then I assume he's going to darkness the Pigeon, so his Sentinel can grow, and then we can follow up with Samira. So now we're looking better, right? We have Samira on board. We can flare to deal the point of damage. We can get these friends happening. I like it. Ooh, I'm kind of interested in the barbed chain. We can probably get out of this turn without playing Pirouette, right? And so the thing we're gonna have to start watching for here as well now is they do have access to that 6 mana AoE. Like 6 mana AoE things that deal 3 or less. And so we'll have to worry about that a touch. Hang on, this is terrible. Let's actually put the one onto Vagar and then stun the Sentinel. If we get the strike with Samira, we'll get the damage thing next turn, and then we can still barbed chain. He's going to have to like direct any removal he has at the Dashing Dandy. So I think we'll be safe to pop off with this. Ooh, that's big. That's big, dog. I'm not getting my strike in. But Vagar taken down, 6 damage to the Nugget. We still have our big friends on board. Not a terrible spot to be in. Stylish shot. Okay. The stylish shot into barbed chain is going to give us the Samira flip, which feels pretty good. Is this only 2 damage? He had the Vagar on board for a turn, so he does have the darkness ability to take her down, but we're still looking quite strong here. Take the old burst pass, right? Do you remember when that was the big drama in the Legends of Runeterra? Riot's taking away our ability to burst pass. This is the death knell of the game. The game is ruined now because you can't you can't play the burst cards and pass and make your opponent make an action. So dumb. So dumb. Alright, here let's come in with the Eye of Nagakaboros. We're going to be open attacking here. Oh, just double Noxen Fervor? Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Just rip him. GG, my friend. Whew. I don't know how I feel about Darkness. Do we have to sit around and say Darkness is just full of dumb cards now that they've rotated Pokestick and they've rotated Go Hard? I don't remember what removal suite they have now. I assume they just rotated the whole thing, but GG. Whew. All right, next battle. Yeah, man, today's been brutal for me, and so it's a Wednesday for me. On Wednesdays, I start my day, I go to the gym, I do cardio for like 45 minutes or an hour. I just sit around and play video games the whole time, and you get your start there. And so I was really hoping to get to sit around and play a bunch of Runeterra today, but you can't do it because the stupid game doesn't allow it because of the rotation and stuff. And so that was off the table. And then I have this head cold thing that started to kick off, and so I've been dealing with that as well. And it's just Life can get you sometimes, man. It can be hard. It can be hard. We'll make it, though. I'm sure everything will be fine. So it's like, do we really want to add Samira at this point? I don't think we do. She's not that impressive at this stage. Let's add the Mirai Warden, see if we can't get 2 attack units, and then really threaten whatever he's going to be bringing forth. Ceaseless Sentry is kind of whatever, but it's the spot we're looking for, right? If he wants to play a rando 3-2 for 2, then we get a lot of opportunity to come in and just get the kill there. Like, this is not a really upsetting space to just be banking some mana.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
So add in Samira. Now, we can protect her if we need to. If he's just picked up, I don't know, is Drop the Bomb still in the game? If he's picked that kind of dumb card up, then we can still deal the damage with Flare and we can deal the damage with Flare and get the +2/+2 from the All Out. But what I'm looking to do here is, ideally, he's going to play like a bigger unit. Stilted Roguemaster is perfect. Now we can add the Elegant Edge. We'll kill the Conchologist, stun the Roguemaster, just blast him for a shitload of damage. Everything's going just how we want here. And so, 1 to Conchologist, stun on the Dum Dum. Now we're going to hit for 7-11. We're going to get a fresh damagey thing. Pie Toss, okay. Gotta remember this one. How much does the back end do? 1 damage? That's so slow. Alright, here come the friends. Nice 9 damage hit coming in. And then on this next turn, you know, we can plunder up the Dashing Dandy if we want. Such a strong unit, man. 4/4 Overwhelm for 3 on its own is such a good deal, but adding in the stuff like the Demolisher to up the plunder, yummy. He's only got a 2 damage darkness. Aight, fam.
These arena types look showy. I bet they pay well.
It's always the rich who are
I think we're good. Oh, he doesn't have the mana to play it. We're definitely good then. Definitely good. Oh my gosh, is he going to attack with Senna? We can, we can all out and get the strong blocks on the turn. I think realistically we should just take it. If I was more familiar with what cards were still in the format, I would be a little bit more in tune with just blocking this Senna. Because the number of 1 damage, 1 mana cards is pretty limited. Like, I guess Group Shot would be a potential one here, but I mean, I don't know if that's still in the format. It's a tough world to be in, man. It's gonna take me a week or two to really get in tune with what's still here. All right, I wonder if he just disconnected.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
But we'll take the flip, we'll add the Butcher. I'm not super worried about him hitting a Plunder. Now on our next turn we can flare and plunder and everything. We'll be good. I think he disconnected. I think he rage quit. If you're not familiar with what happens, if you're new to the channel, people are at work, they take their shit, they sit down on the toilet, and they say, oh, fuck yeah, I'm playing against Bust. I might make it on the internet today. I got to give it all. I got to do the best I can. And then they just get smashed 2 games in a row. And they say, not today. I'm just throwing my phone right in the toilet. You say, none of that, man. And so I think that's what happened here. We had a little phone to the toilet action. And, happens to the best of them. I'm sure Rafito was gonna regret his decision to toss his iPhone right into the pool of poopy water, but what can you do? What can you do? All right. Not a bad battle. GG. Mark it a W for Bust.
Riskier, huh?
All right, the final battle amongst us. And so, yeah, again, I'm only doing 5 today. I usually do about 8. That gives you about an hour of me with some mediocre gameplay and talking about cats and poops and stuff. And it usually feels like it's a good amount of time to give you a decent ladder experience, which you'll be running into with this deck as you're making that sweet ladder climb. But I got all this shit going on, man. I gotta rest and relax. I gotta kick this cold, and then we'll be right back at it. But it's okay. We'll make it through. It's another interesting spot. Like, this is a space to where we drew her. Okay, I guess we'll just drop it. I mean, is she even what we really need to be doing here? Like, the Crimson Pigeons are so good. But yeah, it's gonna take a little bit more getting used to this stuff to feel ultra confident in these plays. This just like it's so easy to be in that Pirates mindset as to where if we were playing Pirates, we would never open attack, right? We would be playing both of our units 100% of the time. But like now that we just have so much stuff to do with all of our mana because of Samira, it really opens it up to, not looking at ourselves as being incredibly aggressive. We are aggressive, don't get me wrong, just not like that ultra top-notch aggression. And then also, how much we're able to take advantage of all this extra mana and using the flares and stuff. All right, well, we'll drop the stylish shot, get our friends in. No other dudes we can drop for combat here. It's a bit sad, but is what it is, Definitely happy to counter an Undergrowth. This dude, this lady, I should say, Lady Lefera, Lady Lifera, she's probably had her fair share of, she's had her fair share of Samira's turning up today. Given the cards we're seeing come out of this deck, I would not be surprised if they just played against Samira all day. But what are we going to do here? I think we just need to drop the eye. It's not ultra appealing, but if we pick up a 1-drop, we can go ahead and play it. And then on this next turn, Like, I don't want to just play a flare and a barbed chain and then roll into the next turn and then just be like, oh, well, I got this Eye of Nagakaboros. Maybe I'll try to get it on the board. Like, it doesn't flow very well. And when we have Pirouette in hand, I feel like we're going to be able to come in and abuse this board a little bit. You know, we can, if he's going to come down and play like a 4-drop and then we get to Pirouette, then we'll get to try and shut down quite a bit of this. How are we going to do it? So what I'm thinking is we stylish shot, we play the dandy, we play the demolisher on the dandy, then we look to Pirouette whatever one of his blockers is, and then also take down a first wave. I think that'll get us in a good space. So that thing comes in. Here's the dandy. Right, we really want to see him just tap out for like a, you know, Ravoon or something. Oh, Spirit Leech. Spirit Leech, you're not feeling good in the land of pirouettes. I'm sorry, fam. I am truly sorry. So we'll deal 1, stun 1. Is Black Spear still in the format? Black Spear on the dandy would be a little bit of a bummer, but I mean I think we're still in a fantastic spot even if he has it. We're gonna chunk in some damage. We're gonna get our bullet thing back. Not bad. Looks like he's got a Black Spear or something. Undergrowth. Okay. So we can just burst lethal him next turn. Is that what this is going to amount to? We get our stylish shot back and have flare in hand. So he just plays a dum-dum and we burst kill him. Yep. Boom, boom. GG. Well played. Not a bad set of games. And so we can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. I had an enjoyable time with this deck, and I think it gives us a good start to Samira. And this is a champion that I feel like is going to turn out a lot like Action, in the sense that there's going to be like 50 different decks that play Samira. Like I was wanting to try Samira with Sejuani. I was wanting to try Samira in the Pirate Shell. We saw Samira with Action from another person. I thought it was kind of interesting thinking in terms of Samira Varus as to where you can use the double cultist spells, like the 1-cost thing that plays twice and counts as 2 spells for the turn. I think you can use that with Samira. Is this a play? When you play 6 cards. Maybe it doesn't work, I don't know. But, you know, you're thinking in terms of Varus, and then once you have the double spells, you can look to get a rally and OTK pretty heavily. Like, there's just so many things that you can look to do with this card that we're going to be seeing this for quite a bit of time. And so go ahead and get yourselves ready. That's why we're playing cards like Heavy Metal, because we know she's going to be so prevalent. You're going to look towards, you know, whatever removal you can play to take her off of the board, because she is without a doubt going to be the main focus of this meta for the next month. And so we'll see what happens in time for a in terms of a nerf happening. But with this deck itself, I think things went pretty well. Some of these numbers could be tweaked a little bit, certainly, but I'm quite happy with how the idea with this went. The unit package, all exceptionally good. It is quite nice to see how strong the Daring Demolisher and the Dashing Dandy are together. Giving that gigantic plunder boost to an Overwhelm unit is pretty fantastic. And then also being in this space to where the Demolisher just ties into all the other plunder themes in your deck. Pretty powerful stuff that you have going on there. I feel like we had a pretty good balance between the card draw with the Eye of Nagakaboros and the Barbed Chain. And I think you got to kind of see how these little ping effects can really add up, in the sense that we used to just have the big blowout effects like a Decimate back in the day. But it's not unreasonable to be doing 3 and 4 and 5 damage with a card like Stylish Shot. It's not unreasonable to be doing 2 and 3 and 4 damage with the relics generated by Samira, and you get that kind of chip damage in. That when you see, you know, a point of damage, that doesn't sound like much, but when you get 6 and 7 and 8 points of chip damage in every single game, that most certainly adds up and is a way to certainly come in and close out some of these battles. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. and you had a good time watching. So this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.